Hazard identified. An active warhead from the Estrella.
Once your grip projector is installed, removal of dangerous objects like this will be possible. Until then, maintaining a prudent distance is advisable. Shields at 95%. Charging dock restored. Jack, now that we've completed optimizing your shield's radiation resistance, I'm afraid there's nothing more to be gained from the dock's data.
What's the point of an advanced network of semi-autonomous recharge stations if you can't count on them to calculate impressive optimizations for you?
I believe you are correct, Captain. The distributed computing power of the charging docks could be put to greater use.
Yes. That's precisely what I meant. Go on.
I have tasked the charging docks with developing a means for allowing Jack's shield to self-regenerate. The wealth of empirical data they have collected on the charging should dock is valuable to the process development.
Then I presume additional data. Approaching the drive bay.
I'm detecting some intense radiation there, Jack. Warheads, I believe. I advise removing them from the immediate area before proceeding.
Sounds like the perfect job for that new tool you're working on.
Correct. It will allow him to manipulate distant objects, including these warheads.
Good luck collecting that data, Jack.
Copy that, Liv. I'll continue searching for cargo drones to scan.
Dr. Harlan, what was your purpose in attempting to salvage the Estrella? The odds of my ship's components being compatible with yours seems unlikely.
It wasn't the hardware I was after. Your ship was the original source of the infestation. I'd hoped to find an undetonated biomass torpedo amongst the wreckage. Use it to develop a cure for all this.
I understand, Doctor. Considering my current directives, I will provide any useful data that may help in your research.
Better late than never, I suppose.
Shields at 95%. This dock is now part of the computational array.
How's it looking out there, Jack?
Manageable. How are your preparations going?
You know that biomass container you grabbed? Got it routed through the ship's fuel lines. Not sure if I should be proud of the accomplishment. Just terrified.
I'm sure Dr. Harlan understands the risk we're taking.
I do. A mix of pride and terror is the appropriate reaction.
Perhaps it would be wise to keep a healthy distance from the biomass container.
Yeah. Good call.
Tool schematics complete. Please visit a fabricator to install your new tool jack. Most charging docks will have one nearby. Grip projector installed. To use your grip projector, simply point at a target. Activate the projector and direct it with your hand. Any sufficiently small piece of debris would be ideal to experiment on.
Impressive work, Juno. Apollo, will I be able to access the fuel cells now?
I believe so.
Good. Heading to the drive bay. I'm back at the drive bay, armed with the grip projector this time.
Great. You should be able to remove those warheads now.
Shields at 95%.
Warheads removed. Entry into the drive bay is now clear.
Copy that. Standing by.
Now heading for the fuel cells.
Great. We'll keep a working cargo drone on standby. Just look for a good fuel cell and we'll handle the rest.
A spent biomass torpedo.
Just like every other that was left behind here. Useless for my research, unfortunately. As soon as one detonates, accessing its incubator is no longer tenable.
Apollo, do these controls operate the door?
Correct. To open the door, both controls will need to be engaged at the same time.
I've gained access to the drive bay.
Wait, those pillars in the center, are those...
The Astrea's FTL drives, yes.
do they still work?
Theoretically. But unfortunately, they're of little use to us. With such a high concentration of biomass forms in this area, any attempt to remove one of the drives would prove futile.
Dr. Harlan, I'm noticing these ticks appear to be less evolved than those we previously encountered.
Must have carried over from the last time jump. No doubt just as dangerous. I advise avoidance at all costs.
Jack, my monitoring systems are offline here. You'll need to manually inspect each fuel cell in order to determine its viability. Simply scan their data ports to get started.
Do we know what the biomass does specifically to an FTL drive to trigger a time jump?
I have a few theories.
As do I.
And I'm sure they're all equally preposterous.
The drive assembly looks remarkable. If only a bit larger.
As I understand it, our drives were reverse engineered from the ones left behind on the Astrea 400 years ago. Their functionality hasn't improved since then.
Apollo, could one of these FTL drives contain a suitable replacement for the fuel cell?
Doubtful. All of these drives are likely depleted from the last jump. And even if that were not the case, I would still advise against venturing too close to those biomass swarms. If we're to leave here with a viable source of energy, it will need to be one of the fuel cells along the outer wall. Exposing fuel cell for your inspection, Jack. Jack, if you access the data ports beside the storage cells, I can open them to allow further examination.
Empty. I'll have to keep looking. Apollo, could one of these infected fuel cells still be full?
It is conceivable, Jack. However, the infestation renders it impossible for me to extract the cell.
Understood, Apollo. I'll check the other cells.
Jack, before we remove any fuel cells, you'll first need to check their condition. Access the data ports near the cells so I may expose them for your inspection. Accessing fuel cell.
Another empty cell.
Apollo, you're sure there's a good fuel cell there?
I never said I was sure, Captain Rhodes. It's simply the most likely location on my ship to contain a viable fuel cell, if any were remaining.
Right. If any were remaining.
Exposing fuel cell for inspection.
This does not look good. These cells are all empty.
Jack, the data ports you need to access are located on the storage units running along the room's perimeter.
The units may be covered in biomass, but the ticks seem to prefer the center of the room.
Exposing cell for visual inspection.
Viable fuel cell located. Hopefully enough to power Dr. Harlan's MTL drive.
Nicely done, Jack. I'm sending a drone your way.
Send 2.
What for? There's only one fuel cell.
Just trust me. Send 2.
Warning, lead drone compromised.
Jack, what's going on?
The ticks swarmed the lead cargo drone.
And that is why you send 2.
I don't think we'll be using that one again.
Backup drone malfunctioning.
More ticks. The lead drone is disabled, but the backup still has a chance.
Pesky bastards, aren't they?
I'll clear them off. Cargo drone cleared.
Acknowledged. Thank you, Jack. Resuming flight. Drone is in place to collect the cargo.
Jack, I've activated the release controls on the fuel cell.
Fuel cell released.
Cargo secured. Ready for departure.
Excellent. Second gantry's all set. So I'm heading back inside. I can finish the hookup from there, Jack. Unless you want to do it.
I'll take care of it, Liv. I'd prefer to see the job through to the end anyway.
Okay, great. We'll see you in a bit.
Cargo drone returning in T-minus 10 seconds. If you wish to return now, I advise taking hold of the drone. Cargo drone departing in 3, 2, 1. Firing thrusters.
The fuel cell is clear of the drive bay.
Great. We'll have some cargo clamps ready to receive it here. surprised to see welders haven't changed all that much in 400 years.
That design is actually from a historical archive. It was the standard for most of the 23rd century. I'm afraid it's the closest approximation to a welder I could fabricate. I hope it's acceptable.
Perfectly adequate, Juno. Thank you.
Cargo now approaching the dock. Beginning descent.
Hey there, Jack. Good to see you're still in one piece. Same deal as before. Hookup controls near the cargo clamps.
Fuel cell in place and ready to be secured.
All you, Jack.
Fuel cell secured.
Copy that. System check, Juno. How did we do?
Systems nominal. Both the fuel cell and biomass container are secure and fully engaged with the ship's intake systems.
Well, Jack, looks like things are wrapped up here. No need for you to rush back, though. I'm not exactly eager to send you hurtling through time again.
Of course.
Also, Dr. Harlan could always use more data for his research, if you'd like to continue exploring the station.
Copy that, Juno. How will this fuel cell interface with the rest of the technology here?
We've made some modifications on the receiving end, but ultimately what matters is that it can produce a strong enough burst of power to jumpstart the FTL reaction.
A duty it should fulfill admirably. At least for a single jump.
There is a wealth of data here. Much of it will be useful for our work on developing a cure. Good find. Shields at 95%. Shields at 50%. Shields at 30%. Jack, I believe we have everything we need to send you to the past. Please return to the ship when you're ready. Experimental optimizations present. I'll need more data, though.
Copy that.
Signal relay activated. running out of time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Linking sequence timed out. Signal relay activated. Warning, 10 seconds remaining to complete linking sequence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Linking sequence timed out.
This container is damaged. Something clearly went wrong.
Parsing local records now. It appears that the nearby cave was found to hold a small biomass infestation. Because of the location's relative isolation from the rest of the worksite, they were using it to run trials on containment systems, and even to harvest samples for testing. It seems this process resulted in the loss of many X3 shells.
Is it possible any of those shells remain? They may possess useful data.
That is an excellent point. Let us hope your shell fares slightly better than those other units. We are all ready when you are, Jack. Come meet us back on the ship once you're prepared to return to the past. Data recovered. Network status connected. We're making good progress, Jack.
Juno, what is the state of Titan?
How do you mean? The weather?
No, Juno. He's asking if anyone's still living there. Our old supervisor was stationed on that moon.
Given the passage of time, I am certain that your boss has long since expired.
Yes, obviously. We know how aging works. But is there still a colony? Has it been fully terraformed?
This device mounted on the surface of the asteroid. What purpose does it serve?
It's a thruster. part of the reaction control system for the facility. We use them to maintain orbit, station layout, and structural stress tolerances. Basically, they help keep everything in place.
I figured there had to be something like that set up. No way those thin tram lines are able to keep everything in place on their own.
Indeed, these thrusters are of such importance that they operate on their own independent power supply and network. Even in the event of a catastrophic failure of other systems, they're designed to keep working.
That's cool.
Also being tested with maneuvering thruster optimizations. Keep searching for more when you can, Jack.
Acknowledged. This tramline appears to have been under construction.
Indeed. Records indicate that the adjoining facility was intended to be used for manufacturing. My best conjecture is they plan to mass-produce cloak emitters there. Dock online. The archives in this unit have been added to the dataset as well.
Juno, are any of the station's X3 units still active?
Not exactly. My records indicate that all X3 neural matrices were transferred off Chiron Station during the evacuation.
Well, despite everything, it's nice that at least the androids made it out. Signal relay activated. Jack, you're running out of time.
5, 4, 3. Jack, I'm reading a local ping from a nearby observation drone. Linking sequence timed out. Scanning archive. Experimental maneuvering thruster optimization found. Not quite enough data to fully replicate it, though. This dock is now part of the computational array. Hello, Jack. If you're looking for the captain, she's in the workshop with Dr. Harlan.
What is that? A motion detection system?
One of several independent sensors rigged to trigger detonation.
Jack, there you are.
Good. He's finally here.
Dr. Harlan and I were just giving this torpedo the once-over while we waited.
Learn anything useful?
Yeah, it's a death trap.
Not that that's anything he has to worry about. Now then, are we ready to begin?
Affirmative. I'm ready. That is assuming all the details have been sorted out.
Yes, everything's in order. Let's proceed.
Hold on. There's still some particulars that need ironing out here.
There are always going to be unknowns. That's just something we have to accept.
Let's assume this works. Let's assume we open another anomaly and send Jack's consciousness back to the past. What exactly is he supposed to do when he gets there?
Locate an undetonated biomass torpedo and sample the genetic material inside.
So you can use the data to create a cure. Right. I get that. I'm saying, how is he supposed to do it? It's not like he can physically bring the sample back with him. And if he's in a combat shell, it won't be fitted to do a medical scan. How will he collect the data?
He'll have to improvise, of course.
Apollo?
Greetings, Captain Rhodes. I have analyzed the situation and would like to propose a solution.
It's good to see you too.
We can exchange more formal pleasantries later if you like, Captain. For now, if you would please proceed to the holotable.
All right, right, Apollo, let's hear it. How does Jack get the data from the biomass incubator?
According to Jack's memory logs, the last anomaly caused his protocols to transfer into a Series 10 combat shell. This unit was equipped with a threat scanner, which could be reconfigured to gather data on biomass specimens. Once we've successfully located a biomass torpedo, I will repurpose his threat scanner to collect data from the incubator inside. The collected data should then easily transfer back with us.
Apollo, are you certain you can travel through the anomaly with me?
A copy of my protocols has already been integrated into your architecture. I see no reason why we would not be transported together.
And how do we know you'll be transported to the right time and place?
If we create an anomaly precisely the same way as we did before, isn't it reasonable to assume we would get a similar result?
That would be my assessment as well, based on our previous experience. So long as we closely replicate the conditions that caused your previous jump through time, I expect the result to be nearly identical.
In other words, they should arrive at roughly the same time and place where your android first saw the torpedo.
And once they've got the data, how do we get them back?
If the experience is anything like before, my consciousness should return automatically.
That is our assessment as well. Dr. Harlan and I believe Jack's time in the past is directly correlated to the state of the FTL drive. In essence, Jack, the longer the drive here remains active, the more time you'll have in the past.
We'll keep it running for as long as we can. Give you as much time as possible.
The Astrea's fuel cell is exceedingly efficient and will most likely last long enough for us to locate an incubator and collect the relevant data.
Once we disengage the FTL, you should be returned to the present time.
Should? You're gonna have to do a bit better than should.
This is time travel we're talking about. All we have are best guesses.
Liv, there's far too much that we do not know about how these anomalies work, but your safety is my primary concern, and this is your best chance of survival.
This is the only way we get a cure. The only way we survive. You, me, everyone.
All right, Jack. You've clearly made up your mind already. I just wish we had a better plan than shoving you in an anomaly and hoping it all works out.
Juno, prep the engineering bay.
Right away, Doctor.
Jack,
It's all right, Liv. I've done this before.
once, by accident.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
I don't know if you're being naive or just really optimistic. Just make sure you come back safely, all right?
Is that an order, Captain?
Well, technically we're both captains, remember? But yes, that is an order.
Acknowledged, Captain. I will do everything in my power to return safely.
The engineering bay is prepped and ready.
Good. Seal all the ship's bulkheads. We cannot risk any accidental contamination. Once
Of course, Doctor. Jack, please enter the control room and the engineering bay below. This way. The control room is right through this door. Sealing the engineering bay now. Engineering bay sealed.
Dr. Harlan? Any inspiring words?
No.
We all believe in you, Jack. To varying degrees.
Your confidence is appreciated.
Can we get started?
Right away, Doctor. Jack, please adjust the dials to connect the fuel cell conduits to the drive core. First conduit connection complete. Both conduit connections are complete.
Good. We are ready to release the ticks into the engineering bay. Once you engage the FTL, they should begin feeding on it and create an anomaly, just like before.
Jack, are you ready for us to release the ticks?
Ready to proceed, Juno.
Acknowledged.
Were the lights supposed to turn off like that?
Don't worry. We're just rerouting power so the ticks can only feed on the FTL drive. Stand by. Releasing tick specimens.
Well, I certainly seem to have their attention.
Once you engage the drive, they should be drawn to the FTL. All systems are primed. Awaiting ignition.
Do it. Engage the FTL. Now.
FTL drive engaged. Biomass FTL interaction confirmed. The ticks are affecting the drive stability.
Here goes. Stay safe, Jack.
Of course, Liv.
Anomalous readings detected.
Take care of him, Apollo.
I shall do my utmost, Captain.
Anomalous readings cited.
Good luck, Jack.
Delta Squad. Delta 6 requesting assistance. Is severely irradiated. Shell integrity slightly below 60%. Secured shelter, wreckage of the Kronos 2. If you're receiving this transmission, please respond.
We have arrived. What is your status?